because he has no, what we call diplomas or...
With the math degree,
Yes.
this is what we call qualifications. Repeat please, Mariam.
Qualifications.
Qualifications. Anyone to repeat the health sentence, please, Latifa?
Kamal couldn't find a job because he doesn't have or he didn't have qualifications.
You cannot find a job because he doesn't have qualifications. Great.
Okay, now read the text again and try to answer these questions. True or false questions. First sentence, can I left school clean? Second question, can I relate to some of his relatives to ask for help? Third sentence, can I could easily find a job because he has qualifications? Fourth sentence, thanks to Maria, can I find a job? Okay, you have 2 minutes to answer this question. You can work in pairs, okay? Is everything clear? Have you finished? Okay, let's see the first sentence. Can I left school willingly? True or false? Yes, true or false? Okay, why?
Kamal didn't leave school willingly because his parents were poor.
Yes, very good. Okay, can you add something? Yes?
He was obliged to leave school
Yes, why?
because his parents had financial problems.
Okay, yes. Now let's move to the second sentence. Can you read it, Farah?
Kamal wrote to some of his relatives to ask for help.
Okay, true or false? Yes, Usama?
False.
Okay, why?
Because this was his friend who helped him.
Okay, do you agree?
No, teacher.
No.
Yes, Hassan?
No, I don't agree. Kamal wrote to some of his relatives. Yes, wrote to some. And wrote to Maria.
Yes, very good. Okay, yes.
Yes, it is true because first he wrote to Maria, then he wrote to Mustafa.
Yes, very good, Latifa. Okay, now let's move to the third sentence. Yes, Andy, can you read it?
Kamal could easily find a job because he had qualifications.
Yes.
It's false because Kamal hasn't any qualification.
Yes?
Also,
Yes?
and also Kamal couldn't find a job.
Yes, very good. Okay, let's move to the fourth sentence. Yes, Ahmad?
Thanks to Mariah, Kamal found a job. False.
False. Yes, very good. Why?
Because Kamal doesn't have qualifications.
Yes, very good.
No,
Now,
teacher.
yes?
Here Maria couldn't help him
Yes, she couldn't help him. Yes, because he, yes?
because the sentence says thanks to Maria, Kamal found a job. Maria couldn't do anything for Kamal.
Yes, very good. Thank you. Okay, you have 2 minutes, okay, to answer the second set of questions, okay? Consider the following questions. At what level did Kamal leave school? Was there anybody to help Kamal's family financially? Was Kamal a late student? You have 2 minutes. Yes? Yes? Okay, have you finished? Okay. Who can answer the first question? Can you read it, Maria, for us?
What happened with Kamal in school? We left school at the second year.
Yes, very good, Maria. Okay, what about the second question? Yes, Bilmusa.
Was there anybody who had Kamal's family financially?
Yes?
No, there wasn't. There wasn't. Nobody had Kamal's family financially.
Yes, very good. Okay, what about the third question? Can anybody read it? Yes?
Was Kamal a lady student? No, Kamal wasn't a lady student because we have in the text he was top of his class. It means that he was hardworking and.
Yes, like Maria. Thank you. Yes, very good. Okay, now let's see the following questions, okay? You have to think of them at home. Do you think that Kamal would succeed in finding a job? If you were Kamal, what would you do? Are they here? Okay, you think of them at home. Thank you.
Hello? How are you? Fine? Are you all right? Have you any problem? Yes. Financial problem. Yes. Problems are inevitable. Without problems, life has no flavor. You know, everybody has his problems. Even if everybody has the same social and personal problems, he has different ways of dealing with it. You know, for example, if we happen to have a social problem or a personal problem, well, what would you do to solve it? Yes.
I would ask my friend to help me.
Yes. Very good.
I would consult somebody who is older and who is more experienced.
Fine. Fine. Yes.
I would think deeply about it.
Good. Very good. Yes.
I would ask my father.
Very good. Yes.
I would try to think about the problem carefully.
A very self-reliant person. Yes.
So you can forget.
Very good.
I would send a letter to say
Yes, by the way, there are some specialized people who help others solve their problems. They are called social advisors. You know, they advise people in how to solve their problems. Could you name some of the social advisors on TV? Yes. Yes. Say that.
So I would also have people in magazines and newspapers.
Very good. Yes.
So there is doctors.
Yes.
Doctors.
Doctors offer psychological solutions. Yes. Have you ever consulted a social advisor in your lifetime?
Never.
Just write your personal problem to a social advisor, either in TV or in a magazine, and he will offer you an answer to your personal problem. No, I don't think so. Okay. Now I will give you some text. I will write some questions and try to answer the text. A paper for each tab. What is it clear? Okay. When did Mary find the word? So, have you finished reading the text? Okay. Yes, could you read the first question? Yes, Alice? Could you read the first question?
What is Abby's job?
Yes, what is Alice's job? Yes.
He is a social advisor.
Yes. Social class. Fine. Okay. Does Mary's son have a problem? Have a job? Does Mary's son have a job? He has not a job. Yes. Fine.
So we think that he has a job. He is still student.
He's still student. Nice. Very good. Yeah. Yes.
He has no job, but he has a lot of money.
He has a lot of money here for sure. Yeah. Yes.
Mary's son is a student and isn't able to find a job.
Yeah, sure. Okay. When you're married, find what? Yes.
Last week when she was cleaning her son's room.
Last week when she was cleaning the son's room, she found the wallet. Okay.
Now that you have read the text and understood it, try again to read it and answer first set of questions. Okay? I will repeat questions for you. Answer the following questions. What is Mary's problem? Did she tell her husband about the problem? Justify. Why did the son put the money under the pillow? You have 2 minutes. Please hurry up, please. Have you finished?
Yes.
Musa, could you read the first question?
What is the marriage problem?
Okay, we can answer this question. Yes?
Mary has a problem with her son.
Yes. Yes. That's right. What is this problem exactly? Yes, right.
He can't find a job.
You can't find a job. Yes? What's that?
Stating that her son doesn't have a job and but he has money.
You have the money. Yes.
Lots of money.
There's a problem, yes. Yes?
Her son doesn't want to finish his studies.
Yes. It's not a problem, yes.
Her son is a thief.
Yes? Repeat.
Her son is a thief.
Yes.
No.
I think he sells cocaine.
Yes. That's a possibility. Anyway, she has a problem with her son. Her son perhaps is a bad boy. Let's move to the second question. Yes, Mujib, would you read the second question?
Did she tell her husband about the problem?
Yes. What can I? Yes,
So she didn't tell her about the problem. She doesn't want to have the mess at home.
Yes. Can you repeat it in the text? Can you read the sentence in the text?
Basically, the last sentence.
Yes.
If we already want him to say anything, shall I tell his father? I will surely have a big mess in the house.
Yes, very good. Yes, so can I answer the third question? Yes, Usman, read it please first.
Why did the son put the money under the pillow?
Yes.
He put the money under the pillow because he was afraid.
Yes.
Because he wants to hide the money so as not to be found by his mother.
Yes, very good.
Doesn't want his money.
Yes, that's true. Okay, now let's see whether you can guess the meaning of some words from the context. I give you just 1 minute to think of 2 words there. The second question. Hurry up, please. Well, the first word is in line 9, second word is in line 15. They are underlined, as you can see. Yes. Who can answer the first word? What is the meaning of the first word? Yes, I see.
Ignore his son's act.
Do you agree with him?
No.
Yeah, why? What is the right answer? Yes?
Ignores means pays no attention.
Yes.
But still.
That is not
That's not. Do you agree with you?
No.
Why?
It is not like in class.
Yeah. Yeah. So the answer is? Yes?
He pays no attention to her mother.
Very good. Let's move to the second word. What is the meaning of mess? Yes, Musa?
the meal.
Meal.
Yes.
It is good. Please.
Yes?
It is good.
Please.
The text talks about the problem, not about me.
Yes.
It's
So,
not me.
yes.
It's disorder.
Disorder. The Musa is disorder, not meal.
Yes.
Yes. Now, I want you to write a paragraph, a short paragraph on suggesting a solution to Mary. Okay? Which will try to help her find solution to her problem. Okay? You have 10 minutes to write this paragraph. Now, I want you to write it now. Thank you.
Okay. I think you have all heard or read somewhere about the earthquake that happened in Canada in 1960. You know, the earthquake as its name suggests, you can see it is composed of earth and then quake, which means that the earth quakes, it shakes, you know, and trembles. You know when the earth normally shakes and trembles, and when there is normally an earthquake, especially when it is terrible, this may cause the destruction of buildings, you know, of hospitals, of houses, in general, buildings. And when we want to reconstruct these buildings, which means when we want to rebuild again, we need some tools, we need workers, and we need some machines. You know, we need bulldozers. Among those machines, we need a bulldozer. This is a bulldozer. I think you is it clear? Yes. Okay, you can see here again. Okay. So now, can you think of another any other consequences of an earthquake besides the falling of houses and buildings? Yes, other consequences of when an earthquake is over. From what people suffer?
People die.
Yes, very good. They die. Yes.
Some people are injured.
Yes, very good. Injured. Yes.
Some others are lost.
They are lost. Yes. Why they are lost? Because they find no home where to live, so they become homeless. People become homeless. Yes, very good. Now, can you think of any other country which suffered from an earthquake besides Agadir?
Iran.
Iran. Yes, very good. Yes.
Japan.
Yes, very good. Yes.
And also Afghanistan.
Yes, it happened just yes.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. Yeah, and it's caused the death of 4,000 people. Very good. Yes.
In Egypt.
Yes, very good. So besides these, all these countries you have mentioned, there was a terrible earthquake also in Mexico. And today we shall see the reports, the news reports about this in the form of the text, you know. Okay, this text is about an earthquake which happened in Mexico. Before reading the text, I will give you some questions to consider, okay, before listening to the text. So the first question is, how many people are homeless after the earthquake? The second one is, what countries are going to send help? So now I'm going to read the text, and I will answer these questions. I want you to write down your answers. And okay, now listen to the text. And while listening, please answer these questions. There was an earthquake yesterday in the northern town of Monterey. Reports say that about 10,000 people are homeless, with many injured and maybe dead. The United Nations have met, and many countries are going to send help. The USA is going to send doctors and firemen immediately. France and Great Britain are going to send medical supplies and blankets. Italy and Spain have special teams of builders ready to leave in the next few days. Food, water, and bulldozers are already on their way from Germany. So now, who can answer the first question? How many people are homeless after the earthquake? Yes?
10,000 people.
It is 10,000 exactly? Exactly 10,000? Yes, or
No,
yes?
teacher, I think it's about 10,000.
Yes, very good. It's not really exactly 10,000, but it's about. Not exactly, but about. Yeah. Very good, yes. And second question, what countries are going to send help? Yes?
First we have the United States and
Yes.
France and Britain and
Japan.
Italy.
Italy, yes.
Spain.
And Germany. Spain. So if you want to count them, yes, how many countries we have?
6 countries.
Yes, very good. 6 countries. Okay. Thank you. Now I'm going to reread the text and while reading, so try to find what each country is going to send as a help to Mexico. Okay? So I want you to put a tick in the chart you have where appropriate. So I'm going to read again. Please listen carefully. Earthquake in Mexico. There was an earthquake yesterday in the northern town of Monterrey. Reports say that about 10,000 people are homeless, with many injured and maybe dead. The United Nations have met, and many countries are going to send help. The United States is going to send doctors and firemen immediately. France and Great Britain are going to send medical supplies and blankets. Italy and Spain have special teams of builders ready to leave in the next few days. Food, water, and bulldozers are already on their way from Germany. Okay? So, what is Spain going to send? Yes?
Teams of builders.
Yes, very good. Spain is going to send teams of builders. Now what about the United States? Yes?
The United States will send doctors.
Yes, very good. And what's Italy going to send? Yes? Any other material word?
Teams of builders.
Yes, so we have both Italy and Spain are going to send teams of builders. Now, Britain. Yes?
Britain will send doctors and blankets.
Yes. Is it doctors and blankets? Maybe food? No?
So I think it's only blankets.
Yes. So Britain is going to send blankets. And what about France? Yes. Is it?
Yes.
Going to send? Yes. So France too is going to send blankets. Now the last country, Germany. Any idea? Yes.
Germany is going to send food and food.
Yes. And according to the chart, just we have here just food.
Teams.
No, here it's food. That is according to chart we have just food. Okay? Is it clear? Now shall move to the next activity. I'm going to reread the text for the third time and try to provide an answer to the following question. Are all these countries going to send help all at once or in a gradual way? Second question. Do you think that the role of the United Nations is important in such circumstances? Okay? Now, earthquake in Mexico. There was an earthquake yesterday in the northern town of Monterrey. Reports say that about 10,000 people are homeless, with many injured and maybe dead. The United Nations have met, and many countries are going to send help. The United States is going to send doctors and firemen immediately. France and Great Britain are going to send medical supplies and blankets. Italy and Spain have special teams of builders ready to leave in the next few days. Food, water, and bulldozers are already on their way from Germany. Okay? Now, first question. Who wants to do it? Are all these countries going to send help all at once? That is at the same time or in a gradual way? Yes?
These countries will send their help in a gradual way.
Yes, how? So, what can you... Yes, Maria?
Yes, because some countries
countries send help and the others are going to send it. It's not.
Yes, it means that in terms of time, some have already sent,
Yeah.
and some are going to send in the next few days. Now, the second question: do you think that the role of the United Nations is important in such circumstances?
I think yes, because they have met and they decided to help.
Yes,
the
very good. So this is the role of the United Nations. They have met, that is, it's help. They have met to help. Yes. Any other
Yeah,
version?
yeah, thanks to the United Nations, Mexico has help from other countries.
Yes, has got help from many other countries. Okay. Now, I want two volunteers. One student. We suppose that he is from another country, one of these countries which has sent help. Let's suppose that he is from Spain, as you have in the chart, in the sheet, and another student is from Mexico. That is, he is a Mexican who has just lived the terrible experience of earthquake. Okay. Now I want the first student, that's the one from Spain, to ask the student B about his feelings, his reactions, and that is his feelings before, during and after the earthquake, his reaction to the earthquake, and his expectations. That is, what does he expect from other countries to do for him? Okay? Is it clear? Yes. Okay.
Good morning. Everything's all right? Today we'll have a listening session. But before that, tell me something. How do you come to school?
I
Yes.
come to school by bus.
By bus. Yes.
By car.
By car.
I come to school by bus also.
By bus. Yes.
We're all
On foot. Yes. You said bus and cars. You mentioned them. So these are industrial inventions, aren't they? Yes. They are useful. Yes. But however, they have many disadvantages. Okay? Can you name some of these disadvantages? Yes.
Accident.
Yes.
Air pollution.
Air pollution. Yes.
Noise.
Noise. Fine. Now, I'm going to read an announcement, and what I would like you to do is to listen carefully. It is all about something we have invented, but which we have come to name as a monster. Okay? I would like you to listen carefully and try to identify this monster and why is it called as such. A monster is usually something that is frightful. Okay. So, ready? Listen. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to talk this morning about a monster that we created, but which is now destroying our world, and may even end up destroying the earth itself. This monster began as a toy. Later, it became a privilege for the rich. Now it has become a way of life. It spoils our countryside, controls our cities, and poisons our air. So, ladies and gentlemen, do you know what I'm talking about? Yes, Carl?
the atom bomb.
No. Someone else?
Pollution.
No. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking about the petrol engine automobile, the motor car. The first petrol automobile were built in 1885, separately by two German engineers, Daimler and Benz. The American Henry Ford manufactured his first Model T in 1908, and Model Ts were mass-produced on a moving assembly line from 1913. The monster was out of its egg. So, this is the first assembly.
Okay. Do you know why it is called a monster? Why? You don't know? Okay, I'm going to repeat the text and you try to. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to talk this morning about created, but which is now destroying our world and may even end up destroying the earth itself. This monster began as a toy, later it became a privilege for the rich. Now it has become a way of life. It spoils our countryside, controls our cities and poisons our air. Do you know, ladies and gentlemen, what monster am I talking about? Can you name it? I'm talking about the petrol engine automobile, the motor car. The first petrol engine cars were built in 1885 separately by two German engineers, Daimler and Benz. The American Henry Ford manufactured his first Model T in 1908, and Model Ts were mass-produced on a moving assembly line from 1913. The monster was out of its egg. Do you know now why it is called a monster? Why?
Because it destroys the air.
Very good. Yes?
Because it spoils the countryside.
Yes, very good. Okay. Now I want you to listen to the text again and fill in this chart. Okay, cars, you will state the advantages and the disadvantages. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to talk this morning about a monster that we created, but which is now destroying our world and may even end up destroying the world, the earth itself. This monster began as a toy. Later it became a privilege for the rich. Now it has become a way of life. It spoils our countryside, controls our cities, and poisons our air. Do you know, ladies and gentlemen, what monster I'm talking about? I'm talking about the petrol engine automobile, the motor car. The first petrol engine cars were built in 1885 by two German engineers, Daimler and Benz. The American Henry Ford manufactured his first Model T in 1908, and Model Ts were mass-produced on a moving assembly line from 1930. The monster was out of its egg. Okay, can you come to fill in the chart? Okay, can you tell me some of the advantages stated in the text?
It is a way of life.
Very good. Okay, any other advantages?
It's a privilege for the rich.
Very good. Okay, we have two advantages. A way of life and a privilege for the rich. And what about disadvantages? Yes?
It poisons air.
Very good. Poisons air? Yes.
Destroys the world.
Yes?
Spoiled cities.
Very good. So we have three other disadvantages. Destroys? Yes. Destroys the world. Okay, it's the same thing. Yes? The last one. Yes? Yes. Spoils our countryside.
Sure.
Yes?
Privilege for the rich. Can it be considered as a disadvantage?
Why?
Because poor people will suffer seeing rich people having
And what about, well, even poor people, not poor people, but middle class people, they have cars, don't they? Well, it's a privilege for them. And nowadays cars are not that expensive, so they can provide having cars, even poor people. So it's a privilege. Okay? Okay, you can go to your place. Thank you. Now I want you to tell me whether these statements are true or false. Okay? The first petrol engine cars were built in 1885. False. False? Are you sure?
True.
True. Yes. They were built in 1885. petrol engine cars were invented by Henry and Ford?
False.
False, yes. Who invented them?
I remember one.
Yes.
Ben.
Yes, Daimler and Benz. Very good. Now the last one. In 1908, Henry Ford manufactured his first Model D. False? Yes. Why? Can you justify? Okay.
So it's false because the manufacturer is first Model T.
Yes, very good. Okay. Now I want you to answer the following questions. How can cars control our cities? Yes? Yes? Can you explain?
Traffic lights, people stop whenever cars
Yeah.
cross them.
You can't go by the street. It's very condemned. Yes. And can you rephrase the following sentence? The monster was out of its egg. Yes? Enough? Yes?
The monster was first created.
Very good. That's very good. Okay, now I want you to summarize the text for next time. Thank you very much.
How are you? Fine. Are you sure? Are you fine?
No, madam. Well, I don't feel well. I'm too tired because of the exams. I think I'm suffering from stress.
Stress, you say?
Yes.
Do you know what is stress? Do you know what it is? No?
When you feel tired,
Yes.
when you are nervous,
Yes.
when you feel depressed.
Mm-hmm.
You have too much things to do.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
When you have too many problems.
Yes.
Before exams, I feel
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Now, to let you know more about this, I will read you a text and think about two questions. We will focus on the first one. Here. The second question is, are there any specific people who are more likely to suffer from stress? Okay? Now I'm going to read the text, and please try to focus on these two questions. Stress. The interviewer. Joining me at my desk tonight is psychologist Adrian Aubrey. It's becoming increasingly common these days for people to talk about stress. What is stress? Adrian? Ah, yes, well, what we call stress is really the tension, the pressure, and the worry that result from problems in your life. Stress can be triggered by anything we are worried about at work or in your private life. Life is becoming more and more demanding, you see? Too much competition and too many worries. Interviewer, who is likely to suffer from stress? Adrian, the psychologist. Almost everyone can suffer from stress. Businessmen, housewives, secretaries, or students are equally at risk. These people are likely to suffer from stress. Well, as I say, stress is simply part and parcel of modern life. Whether we suffer or not depends on our reaction to the stresses. Interviewer, and what are the causes of stress then? Adrian, as far as I'm concerned, almost anything can cause stress. Well, anything. You see, too much work, too little work, being unemployed, having a demanding job, almost anything can cause stress. As I repeat, however, one of the most common causes of stress is change. Change in your daily life, routine, where you live, or your relationships. It isn't the actual change that really matters though. It is your approach to it. Interviewer, what are the symptoms of stress then? Adrian, there are many symptoms of stress as there are causes for it. Actually, just to name a few, loss of appetite, irritability, rushing from one task to another without completing the first, etc. The interviewer, well, how does we cope with stress then? Adrian, I'd say that the best way to fight stress is to relax, have a balanced diet, and take regular exercise, and above all, to enjoy life. Rushing, that's the best cure for stress you can have. Interviewer, thank you very much, Adrian. I'll be the first to take your advice. Okay? Was it clear? So, can you answer the question? The first one, how does the psychologist define stress? Yes?
Stress is the tension that results from problems.
Yes. Hassan?
So, stress is the tension or the pressure.
Yes.
Which results from
Good.
a lot of problems.
Yes?
Stress is the tension, the pressure, the worry that results from problems in your life.
Very good. Any other alternative? Okay, the second question. Yes, Tarek?
Everybody suffers from
Yes.
businessman and the housewife and student.
Yes. Who other? Yes?
And
Is
the
that?
secretaries.
Okay, yes?
Secretaries.
Yes.
Housewives.
Yes, okay. Is that?
People who are likely to suffer from stress are businessmen, housewives, secretaries, and students.
Very good. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Attention, please. Now, I want you please just to fill in the chart with what follows. That is the causes, what causes stress, and the symptoms, that is what indicates that a person, for example, has stress. That is, how does he look like, how does he feel, how does he behave. And last, we have treatment, that is the cure, the solution to the problem of stress. But before that, I want you to listen carefully. And while listening to the interview, you focus, you are going to fill in the chart at the same time. Okay. Interviewer. Joining me at my desk tonight is psychologist Adrian O'Brien. It's become increasingly common these days for people to talk about stress. So what is stress? Adrian? Yes, well, what we call stress is really the tension, the pressure, the worry that results from problems in your life. Stress can be triggered by anything we are worried about at home or in our private lives. life is becoming more and more demanding. You see, too much competition, too many worries. Interviewer, who is likely to suffer from stress? Almost anyone can suffer from stress. Businessmen, housewives, secretaries, all students are equally at risk. You mean zero students, all students. These people are likely to suffer from stress. Well, as I say, stress is simply part and parcel of modern life. Whether we suffer or not depends on our reaction to the stress though. Interviewer, and what are the causes of stress? As far as I'm concerned, this is the psychologist, almost anything can cause stress. Well, anything, you see. Too much work, too little work, being unemployed, having a demanding job. Almost anything can cause stress, as I repeat. However, one of the most common causes of stress is change. Change in our daily routine, where we live, our relationships. It isn't the actual change that really matters, though. It's your approach to it. Interviewer, what are the symptoms of stress then? These symptoms, indications. How can we see that a person, for example, suffers from stress? Adrian, there are as many symptoms of stress as there are causes for it. Actually, just to name a few, loss of appetite, that is, you don't eat too much. Irritability, you get angry most of the time. Rushing from one task to another without completing the first. Interviewer, well, how does one cope with stress then? Treatment, how can we cure stress? Adrian, I'd say that the best way to fight stress is to relax. Have a balanced diet and take regular exercise, and above all, to enjoy life. That's the best cure for stress. Interviewer, thank you very much, Adrian. I'll be the first to take your advice. I think you've been able, at least, to write down the elements of the chart. So, please do come on to the blackboard. While the others think about the answers at the same time. So, what are the causes? Let's start by the cause first. What are the causes of stress?
Yeah, right. Tension.
Yes.
Too much work.
Anybody else?
Changes in our daily life. Changes in our daily life.
Yeah. Anything else?
Unemployment.
Yes, good.
Sir. Sir.
Yep.
Change.
Change. I've already mentioned. Right change, please. Change. Okay. You don't feel very well today.
Yes, thanks.
That's why. Okay. What about symptoms? Anybody? Yeah? Yes, good. Now you're working very right. Yes?
Irritability.
Yes, sure. Yeah. Very good. Irritability. I think you're managing well. What say you?
To win a new task without finishing the first one.
That's good. Rushing, yeah. It means rushing from one task to another. So that's completely different.
Rushing
So,
from
rushing to
from one task.
Yes, what about treatment? Treatment? Relax. Enjoy life, good. I advise you to do so, enjoy it. Write down, enjoy life. Okay.
To listen to music.
Music, even if it's not in Chalway, it's another way to do so. Write down, listen to music. It's a good suggestion, really. check?
Balanced diet.
Yeah, sure, good, very good. Balanced diet. Write it down, please. Balanced diet. We're good. Maybe. Okay, let's start at the best.
To listen to music, doesn't it make
Yes. But at least it's a suggestion, yes.
Yes, but it is a way to relax.
So we can swim also.
So I can say swimming.
You can also swim.
Swim, no. If it seems reasonable, we can write it down. If not, I wouldn't have written it on the blackboard.
But if we want to relax, we listen to music.
Yes.
And
That's
go
good.
to theater.
Have you ever listened to music? I mean, have you a way of relaxing or to get rid of stress? You do so. So you believe that it is a reasonable logic.
So make sports.
Okay. Now we want to focus on another word. I have homework for you. I want to touch you, please. Before you leave, you write paragraph. You write a small paragraph about any other possible remedies for stress. It is clear. Please, I want to make sure that you have written down the instructions, because next time I'm going to check it. Okay? Write a small paragraph about any other possible remedies for stress, any other solutions. Thank you.
Good morning. Are you fine today? The weather is fine, isn't it? Yes, it is. You are happy, I think.
No.
You are happy. Okay. We'll see why. Now, what's the date today? Yes? The date, please.
Friday.
Friday. Yes?
27.
Yes. Which month?
February.
February. Yes?
27. 1998.
18. Now, you all know that population growth is a real problem today, or is it a big problem today, isn't it?
Yes.
Now, if we look at the population of the world, the people in the world, is population increasing or decreasing? Yeah? It's increasing, you all agree. Now, when the population increases, are there any problems that's this called? Yeah?
Food is less.
Yes, good. Less food, yes?
We can't find jobs.
They can't find jobs, yes?
That's the crowd.
Yes, good.
Too much stress.
Too much stress.
Okay. When people die, we don't find places to bury.
Yes. Yes, that's a good.
So I think there are lots of problems.
Yes. A lot of.
Problems.
Okay, good. Now, we'll see whether it's a real problem or not. Now, I'm going to read a text for you. It is by Dr. Ben Ali. It is Moroccan. And we'll see, yes, Dr. Ben Ali, yes. It is Moroccan. And we'll see whether it's a problem in our country. So please